Now, good evening, everybody. Michael D sitting behind the mic again, along with my sidekick, Ron. Ron, welcome back again.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Tonight's topic is kneeling during the national anthem. Is it really fair? Think about it. Now, with that being said, Ron, what do you think about the national anthem and people kneeling during the national anthem?
Well, I hate to be blunt about this, but I think it's just highly disrespectful. I mean, there's a lot of people that are good in this country and have come to this country and become citizens or even come on a green card to be able to work. And a lot of people understand the things of this country, and like a lot more for even many, many other countries in the world. And it's just that when that national anthem is played and all that stuff, I mean, I don't care if they just stand there and with their hands, put their hands up their hearts and remove hats or anything. But to actually kneel and maybe and demonstrate that way, I know it's a peaceful demonstration, but still it's just disrespectful. What are your thoughts?
Well, I kind of go both ways on it, to tell you the truth. One, I can see their point about the anti-slavery, okay? And two, I see your point about the disrespect that's given to the country or every man and woman that has ever died for the freedom of this country. They have to think that that flag has draped thousands and thousands of coffins for servicemen and women, and it's like disrespecting them. So I truly can see it going both ways. I understand what they went through, and I can understand what they're going through. Okay? Over to you.
The thing is that it's especially with the NFL, all that kneeling and I have friends that won't even watch the games anymore, aren't interested in the NFL. They used to have their favorite teams. They won't watch it anymore. They don't tune in anymore. I've lost some interest in the NFL myself. I used to be a big football fan and everything like that, but it's not because of that. It's just other things. There's more important things for me to tend to in life right now. But to keep bringing it up and throwing in people's faces about this slavery that occurred a couple hundred years ago, and I know that that there was slavery a couple hundred years ago in this country, and that I'll try to be brief about this, but and even after that, the black people in this country were not treated as equals, and until probably even the 1960s, when finally President Johnson signed a lot of things, give him absolute equal rights and everything like that to everybody else. No more riding in the back of buses and everything like that, and whatever, eating where they want to eat without being banned out of restaurants.
That's right.
But I have more to say on it, but do you have any more thoughts right now, Mike?
No, I'm glad Johnson signed that bill. Tell you the truth, it should have been signed way before that, though.
Sure. Yeah.
For any person who had to ride the back of the bus, it sucks. Okay? I'm sure many people thought the same thing. It really did suck. But, our forefathers did something over 200 years ago, which I'm totally ashamed that they did. Okay? But, on the other hand, that don't mean that they have to carry it on to today at the same point. to make your point, but do it the legal way. You don't have to destroy somebody's private property or statues or whatever it may be. Even if they were the owners of people or whatever. Just feel sorry for that type of person. You know, that kind of person who owned it, whoever. Okay? I mean...
It's the thing, these protests come out, especially dealing when the national anthem is done. The problem here is that they blame like people like me and you, whose forefathers weren't even in this country when there was slavery, and yet they look at all of us and say, your forefathers. There's probably not even 10% of the Caucasian population here that had people, forefathers in this country that had slaves and everything like that. Not even probably 10% of our population had relatives that go back that far. But, the rest of us get blamed just as much as anybody. And we come from countries that didn't have slavery and things like that, many of us. Okay?
I agree.
But without naming those countries, we don't have to.
That's right.
I do remember when I was a kid, I remember the black people being treated as second-class citizens. And I remember being in a grocery store with my mother, and I walked up to a fountain that said colored on it, and I turned on the water, and my mother was a little embarrassed because people might be looking, and she said, Ronnie, go over to the white fountain if you want water. And I said, why? And she said, because that's colored and that's white over there. And I said, well, I just wanted to see what color the water was. I had no prejudices. I didn't understand what that meant, colored, white, and all that. People were people to me. I admit that when I was a kid, we didn't have black people in my neighborhood. We did have a maid that came over to do work, help us with housekeeping and stuff like that. And she happened to be a black woman in a nearby neighborhood that came over. But I saw her as any other person. I just saw her as people, and other people like that as people too. I mean, we've got to get things together where we're not separated by race.
Where people are treated like people's more like it.
There still seems to be that division.
Where people are treated like people. That's how it's got to go.
Yeah.
I was in a big grocery store, and I can't say the name for legal purposes. That I was checking out, and this lady said to her son, her son tugged on my shirt and asked how old I was, and I said 34. Well, and then she said, "Don't talk to him because he's white." Well, I took that as an insult. I told her, the more you fill that little boy's head with hatred, you're only going to guarantee him a prison cell. Because one day he'll grow up to hate someone of a different race, and he may kill him. Okay? But doing that, he'll be in a prison cell the rest of his life. I said, don't fill his head with hatred. You gotta, look the other way on some jackasses that were our forefathers.
What did the woman say to that?
She didn't have a word to say back. But even the cashier, she was African American herself, and everybody knows me in that store. And she goes, I couldn't agree with you more. We need to love each other instead of hate each other.
Right, whatever that's going to happen. And disrespect for things that white people might like by black people, or disrespect to the black people for what white people like. I mean, disrespect for black people for what they like, and disrespect for white people for what they like. That's not going to help either. I mean, most Caucasian people do like, even black people, Caucasian and black people really do like having respect for the national anthem and the flag. Most do, but it's really dividing. Do you remember John Robert Lewis?
I can't say I ever met the guy. No, never met him.
He recently died. You know, they had a big funeral for him, senator and all that. He wanted America to go forward, not backward. You know? And he talks about it often. And he has this question like, can hatred give way to love? That's what he wanted to know. Can hatred give way to love?
That's a good question.
Lewis had hoped that, right? And we have to just believe that it can. That the hatred can give way to love. And we have to have love and respect for each other as Americans, all of us. And there's got to be other ways of protesting.
I mean, well, Ron, when
Martin Luther King, let's talk about him a little bit. You got anything to say about Martin Luther King?
Yeah, I loved him. He was a great man. I loved his speech. I really did. And he's right. He's right, though, about a lot of things he said. He had a dream. His little granddaughter that made a speech the other day, she said she's here to fulfill her grandfather's dream. And you know what? That's what she should go after. It's fulfilling her grandfather's dream. The man was very smart, very educated, you know. He had a lot of good followers, not necessarily Afro-Americans. They had all colors that were following that man. So, with that being said, you know.
Too bad he had
That's right. That's right. I felt sad when he got shot.
Oh, sure.
He was a good leader.
It's just like, I don't know, he had this dream. And do you think if he could still be living today, Mike, that he would be happy to see what's going on today, the kind of demonstrations they do today? His demonstrations were peaceful, and he got arrested. You know, these demonstrations today aren't exactly all peaceful, and it's possible that not enough people are getting arrested, whites and blacks. You know what I mean?
Well,
with the way these demonstrations are going nowadays.
Well, Martin Luther King never would have set fire to anything, but as you said, all his demonstrations were peaceful. His words are what got things done. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Not actions of destruction. You know? Not actions of riots. You know? The riots should come to a stop. Like I said before. If you want to try and get something done, go to a legal system and get it done. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. What are your thoughts on that, Ron?
What's that? You say that?
What are your thoughts on that? That Martin Luther King dream, I hope that it gets done by his granddaughter.
I'm glad his granddaughter. Okay. I think everybody should look back at the history of Martin Luther King Jr. and really emulate him more than the way things are being carried on today. I don't think he himself would appreciate the kneeling for the national anthem and things like that. I don't think he would have approved of things like that. I just can't see it. He was a great Afro-American, and he was an American. You know what? That's the problem. Are we really Caucasian Americans? Are we Afro